Hi.
Hi.
How are ya?
Good. How are you?
I'm great.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Yeah. Hi, guys. I'm Erin.
I'm Nicole.
This is Dude That's Fucked Up,
Whoop
a
whoop.
podcast brought to you by Erin and Nicole. How's everything going? Any business for us today?
Well, this is episode 50.
50.
50.
It's almost been a year since we started doing this to the day.
Majoli.
Yeah, we have not missed a week. We've recorded every single week to consistently bring you a new episode an entire year.
Yeah. Whoa.
Because it's awesome. Because it's fun. Because we love it.
Aren't
and we love
lucky?
You guys.
Yeah, we're so lucky.
This is a cool thing that we get to do, that we choose to do. And we love it.
We never talked about the meetup because we haven't recorded since then. Should we give a little? I think also we did like the movie thing yesterday, which was fun.
Yeah. Yeah. We had a great time at the meetup in Hollywood. It was awesome.
It was so much fun, and it was really fun to like meet people in real life and that we talked to on the Facebook page, and see some of our friends that listen, and eat fried chicken and waffles
at Roscoe's.
After. It was just really fun.
It was a proper like LA Hollywood experience. I think some people went to the Museum of Death.
Yeah. Mackenzie came to my improv show the next night, which was really fun. And then I even met up with Brendan and Mackenzie and Will on Saturday. Again, we went to a brewery.
Oh, was that fun? I forgot to ask you about that because I saw the pictures and I was like, I wasn't like mad. I was just like a little jealous. I was like, all right.
It was
cool.
It was really fun. Yeah, it was so much fun. And then I was like, oh, are they sick of me yet? Like, I'm just like, hey, do you guys want to like hang out again? And but yeah, it was so much fun. Yeah.
I love it. I'm so happy for you guys. And it was just so fun. We had some friends come out too. That was so kind of like everybody to just be there and hang out. It was perfect. And the bar that we were at was super cool.
So cool.
If you're in the LA area ever, check out Good Time at Davy Wayne's. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Good Times at Davy Wayne's.
That's what it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah, Good Time. Yeah.
So
it's super
fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's like a 70s porn star's living room.
The music is so good.
Oh, it was perfect.
Yeah.
It was a great time.
Fun times.
And then I wish I could have stuck around the rest of the weekend, but I headed up to visit my parents and my brother. So
yeah,
it was a good time, all around great time.
Good.
So yeah,
you made the most of your trip. It's so hard.
I did.
I mean, we always have talked about this like privately, but it's so hard living far away and coming home because it's never that relaxing. There's always so much stuff, you got to fit in seeing everyone and make the most of it. So it can be pretty busy when you visit.
It's tough. I've gotten the hang of it over the year. Like, and when I say I've gotten the hang of it, I mean I haven't allowed the like guilty feelings to like consume me like they used to.
Yeah.
And because it used to be just so hard to like see friends and like try to tell your family like, let's hang out these days, and they're like, why aren't we hanging out all the days? You know? And so so making time and splitting that and figuring out how to do that is it's tough. So if anybody lives far away from their families and knows that struggle,
it's real.
I feel ya.
Yeah,
it's real. Yeah,
I used to not even tell people I was coming home to visit, but then people would text me because somehow they'd find out like, oh, you're in town, and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah,
I'd love to
and then
see
you feel like an asshole.
Yeah, it's like I'd love to see you, but I can't. But
I know.
Now I live here and I never see anyone. So
well, to me, like the true test of a friend is like if you listen to my podcast, you would know that I was in town. So
you fucking assholes.
Just kidding. I'm just
well, if
kidding.
they don't listen, they won't hear it. So who cares?
Exactly. It was a true test. No, I'm totally kidding. I would never.
True friendship test. Have you bought a t-shirt?
Oh, that's right. Nice segue into that. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
We have shirts, and they're here at my house. So if you order one today, for example,
you can ship it.
I will get the notification and I will pop it in the mail same day. So
how much are they?
They're, I believe, $25, and not including shipping and handling, because I got to pay for that shit. Fucking USPS, man. But yeah, it's not too
no, that's
too bad.
Good.
It's like,
yeah.
Yeah, and I also have stickers too, so I can, if you order a shirt and a sticker, or just a sticker, or just a shirt, I got them all. It's ready to go.
Also, the shirts are very nice, so
they are. They're like good quality. They're soft.
Yeah. Brendan wore it when we went to the brewery, and he was like, "Don't be mad, I'm wearing this." I'm like, "Oh, I'm not mad. I'm proud."
You're like, I want everybody to wear it all the time.
I'm like, why isn't everyone wearing this shirt? What the fuck? No. I don't care.
Yeah. So check that out. It's on the website. It's just in the little drop down menu of the shop. Shopping shop. Is it the shop? I don't know.
Le Shoppe?
Le Shoppe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let me look.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Who cares?
We have them. No, I should specify. When you go to the website, at the very top, there's like a little sub menu, and it says "Home," "About," "Episodes," "Contact," "Store."
Store.
Click on the store.
Not shop. Store.
It'll take you straight to the T-shirt and the sticker situation. So check it out. And we got all the sizes: small to extra large, I think.
Yeah, double XL.
Yeah,
we got everyone covered.
But quantities are limited, so check it out now.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. So that's all the business.
Yeah.
Anything fucked up?
Okay.
Oh.
What?
Yeah, do you want to go first?
Okay. So one thing, I got an IM from someone. I don't know if she wants me to say her name, but
okay.
She was like, "Can you tell Aaron?"
What?
I don't know. It's just funny. I read it like this. "Can you tell Aaron that there's no such thing as clean meth?" Because we were like, "Oh, it's
okay." I'm sorry. Did you live in the 1960s and get injected with meth by Dr. Feelgood? I mean,
I know. I don't know. I don't. She was like, "It's all made from." I don't
know. I've never done meth.
Me either. Yeah, I don't know. But I think because we were like, "Oh, it was like high grade meth, and it was like clean meth," and she's like, "There's no such thing. It's all made from the same like chemicals." And I was like, "Okay, that's fair."
Fair enough. Well, except now people make it in their homes out of household products.
Oh, I guess there's like
that's what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah. Oh, I see what you mean. Which isn't.
It's they have to like.
Yeah, there's other.
I guess that's what I mean.
There's other like chemicals in it. Which
that's why people's houses explode.
I thought you were gonna say it's made in people's like dirty ass kitchens and shit. That's like
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm an expert. I've seen Breaking Bad. Just kidding. I don't know fucking shit about meth. I'm sorry.
This meth is clean and pure because it's made in a really nice suburban kitchen. This meth is fucking janky and shitty because it was made in an RV with a dirty spoon. So you want your bougie meth or your dirty meth? Up to you.
Yeah, I fully take that. And yes,
it's fine.
I stand corrected.
But also, we don't care.
Yeah. But yeah, I care. I'm always, but I accept the criticism.
Yeah. I mean,
fair enough.
So listen, there's people that know more than we do. It's fine.
Yeah, if you know that much about meth, then Godspeed. No, I'm just kidding. Cut that out. Yeah. It's methed up that you know that much about meth. I'm just kidding. Thank you. Hey,
good.
It's a comedy podcast, not a chemistry podcast.
Yeah, so many good little jokes. Speaking of your jokes, I have one more other little thing.
Okay.
So I take a stand-up class with my friend Rachel, and our assignment last week was to write jokes for someone in the class. We had to draw names. Oh, remember I was telling you I was writing some jokes for a friend in my class. Yeah. So Rachel pulled my name, and we're friends, and she had listened to your to your Sinterklaas poem about me. And she's like, tell Erin that she inspired one of the jokes I wrote. And I was like, okay. So she wrote me a joke. I'll just tell it to you.
Okay.
And I say, have you ever been asked if the curtains match the drapes? Wait, carpet. I already messed it up. Okay, she says, have you ever...
The curtains and the drapes are the same thing. Okay, yeah.
She said, maybe I should start with that and say, just kidding.
Okay.
Okay, she says, has anyone here ever been asked if the carpet matches the drapes? And then I do like some crowd work, and then I go, well, I have, and I was offended. Obviously, my pubes are ringlets too.
Beautiful, golden, flowing ringlets. Silky smooth.
Obviously, I have a muff full of ringlets, just like my head. Anyway, so that was her. That was her. She's like, so tell Erin that led to me writing a joke for you. I was like, okay.
I'm happy to be amused. I'm content and happy to be amused. That's great.
That's great.
That's so awesome.
Anyway, that's it.
Love it. That's so funny. Well, speaking of meth, my fucked up of the week is that I forgot a huge little anecdote detail from the JFK or the Dr. Feelgood episode regarding JFK.
Uh-oh.
So this was like a kind of insane, but this was part of a bunch of declassified information. So one of the main reasons, obviously, that Dr. Jacobson was dismissed from the White House was, yes, the meth, but also because when JFK died, he destroyed all the records and stuff of what he used to treat JFK. We all know that from that episode. But there was one thing that came out. In 1962, JFK was staying at the Carlisle Hotel, and he suffered a serious psychotic break after basically ODing or being shot up with too much meth, which ended in a manic condition. And him running down the hallways of the Carlisle Hotel, furiously waving his arms and basically running around naked. Maybe he had some chonies on, but I don't know. So the Secret Service had to call in another doctor who injected him with an antipsychotic drug, which finally calmed him down. So he had like a full-on psychotic break.
Oh, my God.
And after that, they're like, your time is up here, Dr. Jacobson. So, yeah, I totally forgot about that's pretty massive detail.
Oh, my God.
But his service didn't stop because JFK was assassinated. It ended because JFK basically had a psychotic break because of the meth. So
how close was that to him getting shot? Was it like relatively soon?
Let's see. When was he assassinated?
Oh, I don't know.
He was assassinated November 22nd, 1963. So like we could like say 6 months to a year before his death. Dr. Feelgood was dismissed from the White House because of that. Yeah. Anyhow, that's my fucked up that I fucked up by not telling everybody about that a couple weeks ago.
Well, it's just a fun fact. We were holding on to it for fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So just FYI, that happened.
Oh, my God.
But, yeah. So,
well,
that's crazy. Well, speaking of what, like
February?
A time when we weren't alive.
Okay, yeah. I was going to say, speaking of, it's February.
I don't remember. I said November, but.
Oh, yeah, I know. I just was going to.
Speaking of months and time. I don't know.
Speaking of podcasts, this one has a topic today.
Yeah, believe it or not, we're not just going to talk about. Before we started recording, we talked about our skincare routine for about almost 10 minutes straight. And then we were like, oh, fuck, we've been recording this whole time. Let's start over. So, yeah.
But I got some good tips.
Yeah, good tips. Yeah. Anyway.
And at the same time, you also kind of reinforced it's okay that I'm spending money on expensive skincare. So I appreciate it.
well, it's expensive because it's effective.
Yeah, it's good.
It's not like some garbage shit that doesn't do anything.
True that. It's not all marketing. It's like actually works.
Yeah, it's tried and true.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. So this past weekend marked the 59th anniversary of the day the music died. That was February 3rd. And if you're like, what is that? What is the day the music died? Is that a lyric from a really fucking corny song?
Yes.
Yes, it is. But it's weird. We chose this topic without realizing that. So as I was doing research, I was like, oh my fucking God, it's today. Like, is the day.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So the day the music died is in reference to, it was, that saying comes from a really bad song called American Pie, which some people probably really like, which, sorry.
No, I'm sorry. You're wrong. It's a bad song, and it's long as fuck, and I hate it so much.
Okay. Tell us how you really feel.
Anti-American, and it's so bad.
You guys know the song. It's Bye Bye Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. And good old boys were drinking. You know that song. It's like,
this'll be the day that I die. Also, Madonna covered it in the early 2000s, which fucking nail in the coffin on that song for me. Yep. I think I felt not that passionately about it before she did that. And then I was like, oh no, that song's bad.
Yeah. Well, this song is like from 1971, so everything during this time was like pretty cheesy.
Yeah.
But it's by Don McLean. And it's super long, but the song is about a terrible plane crash that killed 3 of the music industry's biggest stars in 1959.
Yeah.
So, so hence February 3rd, 1959 is known as the day the music died.
Yeah.
And how could such an upbeat song be about something so fucking tragic?
Because it's
fuck this
bad.
guy.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of really upbeat songs that are about fucked up stuff, I'm still compiling a playlist of our top fucked up songs.
Oh.
And we'll eventually have a portion or a whole episode dedicated to why we think these songs are fucked up. So if you'd like to throw a song in for consideration, just shoot us a note. Like either on the Facebook page or Twitter or whatever the fuck, or email, and we'll and tell us why it's fucked up.
Yeah.
Well, I'm also like making an effort to make the playlist like listenable. So.
Yeah. We were talking before this, like we want it to be good songs that are about fucked up things, not just like any fucking Slipknot song you can find that's about like murder.
Yeah.
I could tell you one song that's not making the cut. It's called American Pie by Don McLean. And it's about a fucked up plane crash. And I don't care because that's a bad song.
Yeah. Well, fair enough. Anyway, yeah. So, bad song about a plane crash. But who and what happened? Like, what 3 huge stars died in this plane crash?
Yeah.
First, let's talk a little bit about the music scene in the late 50s. It was pretty tight, in my opinion. It was, like, getting fun.
Oh, yeah. Things were starting to happen. It's, like, the time it's, like, what was the catalyst to rock music as we would come to know it.
Yeah. A lot of, like, really talented musicians coming out, and rock and roll was starting to become mainstream.
Yeah.
And, like, kids were having sock hops and making out in the backseat of Cadillacs and shit. Yeah. It was tight.
It was tight. Poodle skirts and fucking ponytails and little saddle shoes.
Skinny ties and, like, thick glasses.
Yeah. Woo. Hot stuff.
Love it. Hot stuff. So at the time, some of the most famous musicians at the time were Buddy Holly, and let's see, Richie Valens, and Big Bopper. So you know Buddy Holly. Buddy Holly is famous as fuck. Like, had a pretty impressive discography for somebody so young.
Yeah.
he was. I think I still listen to Buddy Holly songs. I was just listening to some to get in the mood for this episode.
I mean, I don't still listen, but I did listen to some for the episode. Because you asked in here what my favorite song was. And I was like, I think I only know one. But then I knew, when I listened to them, I knew a few more. But I still don't really, they're just like kind of creepy to listen to now. I don't know. Like there's something about old music that's a little creepy sometimes.
Yeah, because it's kind of like, it's, I don't know. It's
haunting.
It's kind of haunting. Yeah. That's true. Well, what are your favorite Buddy Holly songs?
Okay, as I was listening, well, first my not favorite Buddy Holly song is Every Day, and that's because there's like this constant like dick slap noise in it.
The chiming noise?
It's like ding, ding. No, it's like every day it's a getting I don't know. But it's like a constant dick slap noise.
I like it. It's like
you would.
I know. No. I do love dick slaps.
No, but so that one is just distracting to me. But but I think probably my favorite one is Not Fade Away, which is technically by the Crickets, but Buddy Holly was the lead singer in that band. So I think, and the Rolling Stones covered it, and it was great. So
yeah, it's a great song.
Yeah,
it's a really good song.
Which one's yours?
My favorite Buddy Holly song is Dearest. It is such a sweet song. It's only like, it's not even 2 minutes long. It's very simple, but it's beautiful. It's just sweet. It's a sweet song. It is it was one of my top contenders for me and DJ's first dance at our wedding.
Oh, wow. You are a Buddy Holly fan.
Well, I just love that song.
Oh.
But we ultimately went with Sam Cooke, so which still
very good.
Some of the best love songs ever written.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Anyway, so love that song so much. Still listen to it regularly. But yeah, it's all like Buddy Holly was like the hipster prototype that we see today.
Yeah.
I think.
Super hipster. Yeah, I don't know. He
very clean cut, wore glasses.
Yeah, and he was
like
very
the cool like Wayfarer glasses.
Yeah. And he was very eclectic, I guess, in his styles, which, okay, I was reading somewhere and I thought this was fun, that he obviously is like in the rock and roll genre, but he could seamlessly kind of oscillate between like rock and roll and country and maybe even a little bit of like folky, because he used that hiccup device that he do you want to do it?
I don't know if I can. Like in Ray Vaughan, he does it a lot. You know the song Ray Vaughan? It's like, oh, and he does that like a lot in that song. But you know it when you hear it.
Yeah.
But it's like kind of like it could carry a twang if it needs to, I suppose.
And it's like very prevalent in Peggy Sue. I'm trying to think if it's in yeah. Peggy Sue.
I don't know.
It's like sometimes it was like a literal like Peggy Sue. Peggy Sue.
Oh yeah,
you know,
that's like a lot, like rockabilly has that in a lot of their music,
pretty
a lot
fun.
of their songs too.
Pretty fun.
Yeah, he was able to like cross over a lot, like a Post Malone, if you will. I'm just kidding.
I don't know what Post Malone
is. He's that white rapper who's like, I want to do rock and roll now.
Oh God,
like,
fuck off.
Yeah,
no, you don't need to do anything but not be around.
Yeah. But unlike Post Malone, Buddy Holly was actually talented.
Yeah.
Also, unlike JT, like unlike Justin Timberlake. Sorry if there's any JT heads out there, any ramen heads out there. I do not like Justin Timberlake.
His new album is straight up trash fire garbage.
Yeah. Get the fuck out of here. It's Super Bowl Sunday today. We're recording this, and I don't give a fuck about. Isn't he doing the halftime show?
I couldn't tell you.
Who cares?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Whatever. That's our rant for that shit.
Okay, but one side note about Buddy Holly that's really sweet. I thought, and also kind of weird, but for the time, not that weird. He proposed to his wife on their first date. And she was like, "Are you kidding?" He's like, "No, I want to marry you." And then they got married.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Crazy, but cute.
And how old were they? They were like in their 20s probably. Like super young.
Yeah, because didn't he die when he was like 25 or something?
Yeah, he was really young.
Yeah, so.
I get it. When you know, you know.
Yeah.
But that's a lot.
It's also aggressive.
It's intense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I thought Buddy Holly is pretty hot.
Yeah, he's like very tall and thin.
Yeah.
And like had those glasses and a nice smile. He seemed cute.
Good. He's a fucking talented musician. And he was
listen.
Good dresser.
You don't even have to be that talented of a musician for me to find you hot. Like, it's a sliding scale.
There's like something about like somebody who's talented musically is like a multiplier.
Yeah, it's
for sure. Like a horniness multiplier.
Yeah.
Oh God. So yeah, Buddy Holly is great. And then let's see. There was also
the Big Bopper.
JP, the Big Bopper Richardson, who was like more rockabilly, like OG, like rockabilly kind of like fun. I don't really know any of his music though.
Okay, I do, and this guy creeps me out because he goes, "Hey, baby."
Oh yeah.
And he goes,
okay.
"A chantilly lace and a pretty face."
Okay.
Yeah, I hate it.
But that's like his only jam,
that
right?
was his like hit.
Okay.
Yeah. He has other songs, but I think that was like his famous one.
That was like the big hit. And then there's Richie Valens, who he was amazing. He did La Bamba.
Oh, okay.
Everybody knows La Bamba.
I'm sorry, but that's like the most fun song that's ever existed. It just makes me so happy.
Okay, if you like mariachi, that's where that song derives from. It's like a variation of a mariachi song.
Yeah.
So Richie Valens was one of the first like Hispanic full-fledged rock stars. Like
the first. Yeah.
He was like the first. So he was Mexican American from like the LA area, and he is the forefather of the Chicano rock movement. So
cool.
Chicano rock and roll is still like a thing to this day. So it would have originated out of East LA and other areas in Southern California. So my grandpa grew up in Redondo Beach around this time and is Mexican. So he was definitely getting into trouble listening to Richie Valens, like for sure.
Oh, I love Richie Valens.
Just, fun stuff.
Yeah. Okay, which we could talk about this a little bit later, but I feel like there was like a through line in the movie La Bamba that didn't really exist in real life or something. I don't know, but we'll talk about it. But I love Richie Valens' music. I love it's all so cute. Donna. Then what's the other one that I really like? Well, let's go, little darling. Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah. Oh,
I
it's so
good.
He was amazing. He was so great. He was doing the most.
Yeah.
But yeah, so all three of these guys though, they like joined forces and were going on tour together. So these were like three of the biggest like rock and roll, like kind of pop rock at the time.
Yeah.
Going on tour together, if you can imagine how fucking awesome that would have been.
Yeah.
And so the plan was to go on tour to 24 different cities throughout the Midwest. This is dubbed the Winter Dance Party Tour. Sounds fun. Sounds great.
Because it's winter and it's at dance halls.
Yep, it's at dance halls. Like they're just getting the kids moving and grooving.
Yeah, $1.50. You just pay $1.50. You get to go see all these headlining acts at a dance hall with your.
It's like
sweetheart.
a mini Coachella.
Yeah, it's like the original Coachella.
Yeah,
but emphasis on hell. Coachella.
Coachella. They had to, like I said, go around to about 24 different cities throughout the Midwest. Now, I don't know. I didn't grow up in the Midwest, but I know a lot. I have a lot of good friends who did, and they're immune to cold basically because they grew up in the coldest place you can imagine, which is the Midwest in the wintertime. So, and then part of the other, like 4 months out of the year, it's dope.
Yeah.
But we're talking like, Iowa, Chicago, Wisconsin, Minnesota, like all that shit that is sub-zero temperatures in the wintertime on any given day in January. And that's when they decided to get this tour going. So it didn't have a lot of money, it sounds like, for this tour. But this whole thing was like to make money. So they were on a budget. And like I said, the tour started January 23rd, 1959. And as soon as they started going for it, after their first show, they realized that the logistics were fucked about how to get around to each city, because it was like, instead of following like a logical pattern of like play a show in, Des Moines and then go to the next closest town in Iowa, they were zigzagging all over the place. Like they'd be in Minnesota one day and then down or wherever, I don't know. Like they were in Wisconsin. Like they were going state to state to state. They weren't just going city to city. They were going like state to state to state.
Yeah, like doubling back and like basically like ping-ponging or like pinballing everywhere.
Yeah, zigzagging, pinballing, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It was not good. It
Chaos.
Was really, it was like, therethere's a quote from from a Buddy Holly historian named Bill Griggs. He said, because this is like, obviously, this was not organized by the artists. This was organized by a company called General Artists Corporation, which was the organization that booked the tour. And the Buddy Holly historian Bill Griggs said they didn't care. It was like they threw darts at a map. The Tour from Hell. That's what they named it, and it's not a bad name. Like it was impossible to. I can't believe it gets worse too. So. So they're driving around from city to city, driving hundreds of miles between each city, and they're not in a luxury tour bus.
No.
They're in stripped down old school buses that keep breaking down. Like these school buses that they're in are like refurbished or whatever, which and redesignated to just be in the junkyard basically. Because they're not safe for children to be riding around in anymore.
So they took some of the seats out, made a little like nook.
Yeah. I don't know. Who knows? But basically, the buses are just garbage, just ready to, be impounded. And to save money, this is like what they did. And these buses didn't have heat in them.
Oh my God.
And they kept breaking down.
Didn't they go through like 5 buses or something?
Yeah, they went through about 5 of these shit-ass buses. And they're all piled in, like all the musicians together. So it's Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, Big Bopper, and then like Buddy Holly's backup band, which is like 4 or 5 other people, I think.
Yeah, Waylon Jennings was in one of his guys.
Who was in his, it was Waylon Jennings. So after Buddy Holly left the Crickets, he assembled a new band, basically. And it was Waylon Jennings on bass, Tommy Alsop on guitar, Carl Bunch on drums, and then another like dude with supporting vocals, Frankie Sardo. So yeah, there's like a bunch of dudes in this shitty bus.
Yeah. Trying
to make it back and forth between all these cities. In the middle of winter, blizzards, sub-zero temperatures, they're freezing. And they had to unload and reload all of their own equipment at each gig. So they don't have any roadies. They don't have anybody helping them. They're doing everything on their own. It's very DIY. But at the time, they're these like super famous rock stars, basically.
Yeah.
So they're just not. I don't know.
Well, it was early days of this type of thing too. Yeah. Like there weren't giant event companies and all these fancy managers making sure like You didn't have to do that type of stuff. So.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, it's hard to imagine nowadays, like seeing what happens when, when a big act goes on tour. It's like a huge production.
Yeah.
Hundreds of people are involved to figure out logistics and, take care of the band members. So that was not a thing back then. So anyway, at one point, since the buses kept breaking down, they were, at one point, they got stranded on the side of the road.
Oh, my God.
In the middle of, like, sub-zero temperatures for a while. And they were all getting sick. Like, Richie Valens came down with the flu. It was just so bad just from being exposed to the cold for so long.
Oh, my God.
And also, like, probably they were exhausted because they were playing a gig, like, almost every night without their only, like, their rest, I guess, is on the bus.
Yeah, they drove 400 miles to 3 states over.
But they're not even getting rest. Like, they're trying to keep themselves from freezing to death.
Also,
awful.
What if they did make it to a hotel? What kind of shape was that in?
No shit, right? So, they're getting sick. And at one point, the bus broke down in the middle of the highway in Ironwood, Michigan. And they're stranded on the side of the road in sub-zero temperatures. They're stranded for so long that the drummer, Carl Bunch, got motherfucking severe frostbite on his feet.
Oh.
This is like some Oregon Trail shit.
No, for real, because they were lighting newspapers on fire in the aisle of the bus to keep warm, too.
That's insane. That's insane. It's like a hobo bus tour.
It's the hobo bus tour.
That's crazy.
Munch is getting frostbite. Or Bunch. What's his name?
Bunch, not Munch. He's got a bunch of frostbite. I'm sorry. I feel bad for making fun of this guy. It's so fucked up.
Oh, that's funny.
Because he got
survived.
Frostbite.
It's
I know,
fine.
but he had to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
And then they had to continue on with the tour. So they all helped with drumming duties. Like, I think, like, of course they're all so talented that they could all play drums too.
Yeah.
So, like, Richie Valens would play drums for Buddy Holly or Big Bopper or whatever. They'd like rotate around. So
cool. How scrappy everybody was. I love it.
So scrappy. So DIY. So punk rock. I love it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so after doing this for a while, they were like, "Fuck this shit. This is terrible." They were getting real tired of it. And I think the straw that broke the camel's back was they had a gig in Clear Lake, Iowa on February 2nd after they drove 350 miles from their last gig in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Oh, my God.
And so Clear Lake was an unscheduled stop, but the promoter's like, let's just, you have a day off, so let's shoehorn in another fucking gig.
Oh, my God.
Let's make that money. Dance, monkeys.
Dance, monkeys.
Dance. Sing. Dance. Yeah, it was mean, just mean.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so this one was in Iowa and
at the surf ballroom.
No.
No,
what kind of I know. What kind of surfing do they do in Iowa?
Obviously snow surfing or something, corn surfing or
I don't know. Maybe that's where snowboarding came from. Oh, except there's no hills there, so yeah. I don't think so, Iowa.
Except there's not a mountain, let alone many mountains.
So yeah, they're like, "Oh, we're done with this. Fuck this." And then, because they're looking at their schedule, and they had just drove 350 miles to this like shoehorn gig, and they look at the schedule, and the next day they had to drive to Moorhead, Minnesota, which was like back the way they came almost, but it was, or maybe not. I don't know anything about the Midwest. I don't know. Well, but no, they had just been in this area like 2 weeks or like a week ago or something. It was like or even a few days ago, and they could have just stayed there. So the gig that they had the next day was 365 miles away in Moorhead. And then the day after that, they had to go back down to Sioux City, Iowa, which is a 325-mile trip. So what are they doing?
Oh, my God.
So Buddy Holly was like,
Do it.
He was like, fuck the shit. Fuck the shit. Fuck the shit. Oh, fuck this. Fuck this fucking shit. I don't know. He was done. So he didn't know what to do. They were like, they needed a break. They needed a faster way to get from point A to point B. It was bad.
Oh, also I wrote, I just kept reading that
Oh.
he wanted to do laundry. Like his chonies were dirty and yeah, and like they hadn't done laundry in 10 days or something, and
nasty.
And so
they're like starting to look like Motley Crue at this point.
Smell like them anyway.
They're like all so clean cut, and then but they smell like shit. So it's
oh god,
it's bad.
Yeah, he's like, I just want some clean underwear in a bed. Is that too much to ask? I'm a human.
And then the promoters are like, no.
Yeah. They're like, turn them inside out. He's like, I already did. They're like, do it again.
Yeah. Go air it out, hang it out the side of the bus.
It just freezes and breaks apart into a billion pieces.
Exactly.
Oh,
it's so bad.
Yeah.
These poor guys. So, so unglamorous. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I just thought like this was like standard procedure.
I think
like for them to like book a flight.
Oh yeah,
which is what they ended up doing.
Well,
so
I think like touring isn't glamorous for the most,
no.
Unless you're on the Starship.
Oh, unless you're like a huge like multi platinum fucking performer.
Yeah,
that's why people are like happy to go do like residencies in Vegas.
Yeah, dude,
like
for real.
Once they've like reached the pinnacle of their career, I think it's like not so like not such a bad option for people anymore.
No.
After having to pay your dues and travel around and whatever. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
you get to live in a house, like a nice house that has all the amenities you want, and just like commute to work every day. Like you don't have to like you're not in you're not in a new hotel every night.
Right. And I mean even I don't know, like we've had friends that have been in bands and stuff, and excuse me, they they live the like life on the road, and it's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah.
So but it's
stinky.
It's stinky. It's
and you're
really
sleeping
stinky.
On like friends of friends floors and shit. At some point, you get too old.
Yeah. Well, you gotta break out somehow. So
yeah.
But these guys are already like selling records and doing it, so it's pretty fucked up. I had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Buddy Holly was like, "Fuck this shit. I need a break. I'm chartering a private flight."
Yeah.
So that's what he does. He gets a private plane that's like a teeny little plane. It's like seats 4 people, including the pilot.
Oh my god.
So he and only 2 other people could come on board with the pilot.
Yeah.
And that's what they do. Yeah.
Oh my god.
So yeah, they hire I don't know what airfield they went to, but the pilot that they got, his name was Roger Peterson, just 21 years old. He was already pretty tired.
Oh my god.
17-hour shift that day. But he's like, I'll fly some rock stars.
Yeah, for real. I would.
Yeah, I would too.
But I wouldn't want to be in that plane. Okay, this is where things defect for me from the movie La Bamba, because the through line throughout that whole movie, if you'll recall, anyone who's seen it, is that he's scared of planes.
He was.
Oh, that's real?
That's real.
Oh.
But at the time he had the flu. He was still getting over the flu.
Yeah.
And he was kind of like more, I think, interested in the idea of not being in a fucking freezing ice box of death, like AKA the bus.
Yeah. So he was interested in getting a seat.
Yeah, he was like not stoked about it, but he was also like he wasn't trying to push his way on the plane by any means, because he ended up flipping a coin.
Oh, okay. So I read somewhere, and this is what made me conflicted. So I guess Buddy Holly charters a plane. He wants Waylon Jennings and Alsop. I forget that guy's first name.
His bandmates
to come with him. He's like, I got you both seats. Well, Waylon Jennings gave his seat to Big Bopper because Big Bopper had a cold and wasn't feeling good. So he's like, dude, take my seat. It's fine.
Yeah.
And then I read that Richie Valens made Alsop flip a coin. Like he was like, I'm interested in this seat too. Let's flip a coin. But in the movie, I feel like it was more like, Richie, you take this seat. You take it.
Yeah.
And then he's like, no. And then they're like, no, you should take it. But I don't know. I mean, whatever. It's like so minute. But
yeah, I think there's like conflicting reports. And I think
but he was into
the stories were like, back and forth a lot over the years.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they did flip a coin for the seat.
And he won.
And Richie Valens won.
But he lost.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I think it was like $36 for each passenger, which in today's money would be like $300 maybe.
Yeah.
Which fucking worth it, man, if you're trying to get some sleep and not be in a freezing cold bus. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah. Although, well, my thing is, so the whole reason Buddy Holly took this gig headlining this tour in the middle of winter when his wife was pregnant was because he was in some serious debt.
Oh,
so I'm like, what you don't have any business chartering a plane, sir. But I mean, whatever.
I mean, he did the cost analysis and
it worked out for him.
He was like done with fucking how can you perform after being freezing cold and stiff in a bus?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I don't know, 10 hours. I don't know.
Yeah.
So he just needed a little luxury. So yeah, they get on the plane. It's like close to midnight that they board the plane. So it's obviously dark. Buddy Holly gets in the front with the pilot, and Richie and Big Bopper get in the back. And it's February 3rd, like 12:30 a.m. Early morning, like 12:30 a.m. And even like people, even like fans are seeing them off from the airport. They're like, they found out that they're flying out of this particular airport, and they're like loving it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it had been stormy weather like at different points throughout the month, but at this particular point in time where they were, it was like pretty clear. Conditions seemed all right. The pilot felt good about taking off, I guess. But he was not made aware of reports of 2 blizzards moving into the area.
Oh.
So he was about to fly into some weather. Everybody saw them take off. The owner of the flight company saw the takeoff. It was clear. He was able to follow the tail light of the plane for quite a ways. And, everybody just assumed it was all okay.
Yeah.
And then they tried to make radio contact with the pilot a little bit later after they took off and could not get any kind of signal or response back from the pilot. So, they waited for a while until the sun came up, I guess, and the weather cleared out. And the owner of the plane company decided to fly the same route that Peterson, the pilot, had flown.
Yeah.
And as he was flying, I think it was only like maybe 6 miles, 8 miles away from where they initially took off, only a few minutes into the flight.
Yeah.
He saw the wreckage of the plane.
Oh.
So sad. He radioed the sheriff as he was in the air, and it was a bad scene.
Ooh,
it was a very small plane.
Yeah.
And people think that he flew directly into one of the storms. So he had no visibility, and it was probably very, very, very turbulent.
Well, and I think it's like guessed that he lost track of the horizon and like where the ground was.
Right.
Because
like kind of exactly what happened to John JFK Jr.
Oh, really?
people think that's what happened to him.
It's easy to do because if you don't have visibility, like sometimes I don't think your tools can tell you everything. That's why you don't fly helicopters at night, right? Or in storms or something.
I mean, there's a lot of factors that contributed to this, which we'll get into later, but that was a major factor, yeah.
Yeah.
Having no visibility with kind of remedial instruments is
1959 plane instruments.
Yeah, and a small plane too, and also like small planes are more susceptible to crashes because they're very light and small, and a bigger plane can like you know when you fly in a smaller plane you can feel each bump.
Yeah,
like as you're ascending. When you're in a bigger plane you can't really feel that much. Yeah, so you can imagine how fucking scary this must have been to be flying through some major turbulence, an actual like straight into the storm, which is so bad.
Literally minutes into your.
Yeah, and this is like flight paths are determined now based on weather, like, and I'm sure they were then, but he was not made aware of the weather, so he didn't have the right flight path. So yeah. So basically, what had happened was the plane the plane plowed into a cornfield at 170 miles an hour, and everybody was killed instantly. They were all like ejected from the plane completely. Like the wreckage is horrifying.
Well, because I think they landed, they clipped a wing, and it it somersaulted.
Yeah,
and crushed into itself.
Yeah, it catapulted somersaulted like end over end, basically. Yeah. And that's why they were like all thrown out of the plane.
Yeah. Oh. But they died instantly, luckily.
Yeah. And since it was the morning after, there was like nothing anybody could have done anyways. Like there was no way anybody could have followed them to fly after them. I think because the weather got so bad.
Right. Because I think the owner of the plane saw them take off and it looked like they were descending like pretty soon after they took off, and that's why they were trying to radio them and not getting any feedback. But there's nothing they could do. They couldn't send anyone to look for them on the ground or in the air because they didn't know where they were, so it was just kind of like wait and see.
And so a subsequent investigation into the crash by the Civil Aeronautics Board revealed that even though this pilot, Roger Peterson, was somewhat experienced, he had over 4 years of flying experience with the Dwyer Flying Service, which is
the company.
Company. He had accumulated 711 flying hours, and 128 of those hours were on the same plane he was flying. It's called a Bonanza, and that was the same plane he was flying that night. So he was familiar with the plane. However, even though he had like a good amount of experience, he'd logged 52 hours of instrument flying training, and he'd only passed his written exam and was not yet qualified to operate in weather that required flying solely by reference to instruments. So he and the Dwyer Flying Service itself were only certified to operate under visual flight rules,
which means that he shouldn't have been flying in a storm or maybe even at night.
Yeah, exactly. You are only allowed to he was only allowed to fly, and they were only certified to teach while flying with clear visibility, basically.
Wow.
So yeah, you have to see where you're going. And on the night of the accident, on the night of the accident, visual flight would have been virtually impossible due to the low clouds.
Yeah.
There was a lack of a visible horizon and the absence of ground lights over the sparsely populated area. Since
it's all cornfields.
They crashed into the cornfield. So the two major findings were that the CAB, the Civil Aeronautics Board, determined were that the pilot's unfamiliarity with the old-style attitude gyroscope fitted on board the aircraft may have caused him to believe that he was climbing when he was in fact descending, and that's an example of spatial disorientation. And then also the seriously inadequate weather briefing provided to the pilot, which failed to even mention adverse flying conditions, which should have been highlighted. So
Yeah.
it was like, it was not good. He should not have flown that plane in the first place.
No.
But you don't know. Like, you trust that your pilot knows what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah, why would you think you'd even have to ask? Like, that's one of those things where you expect experts to know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And so why would you have to ask the questions?
Yeah.
Are you sure you know how to fly your own plane?
And again, these guys were fucking exhausted. They were just like, please just get us there. We don't care how.
It's
like,
such a bummer, too, because they could have waited till the next day. Like, they could have stayed in a motel closer by and then still flown there the next day to make the show. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they didn't have to leave right that minute. And someone who is good at their job should have been like, oh, why don't we wait till the morning?
Yeah, well, they put a lot of blame on the company who organized this whole thing.
Dwyer.
No,
the whole tour.
The whole tour. Yeah. General Artists Corporation got a lot of flack, a lot of criticism, because they just totally disregarded the conditions that they forced these guys to tour under.
Yeah.
Well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, sad. Those are the details of the crash, but yeah, there was a lot. It was very devastating.
I think too, what is interesting, one of the things that was interesting to me is like what happened immediately after, because it changed kind of like the protocol for when there's like an accident where someone is killed. So none of the families were notified prior to the release of the identities of the victims to the press. So the next morning, it was already in newspapers across the U.S., like even in the U.K., because I read something, I thought it was one of the Beatles had a newspaper route. Maybe it was someone else, but they remember like opening the papers the next day. Oh, it was Bob Dylan. He had a newspaper route, and he was like 13 years old at the time, and he remembered opening his pack of newspapers the next day and seeing that they all died on the front page, which is crazy. In Texas, Buddy Holly's mom had turned on the radio and heard the news report before even being notified.
Yeah, none of the family members were notified.
Nope, none of the family
members
that
these guys had been killed in the plane crash. They literally all found out from media.
Because Buddy Holly's wife, who was pregnant and living in New York City, turned on the TV and found out, and unfortunately, like miscarried her baby the next day because it was so traumatic, which could have happened even if she was warned, but just like a fucked up thing. She just like freaked out.
Yeah.
So that both of these instances led authorities to adopting the protocol a few months later. It wasn't immediate, but they were like, hey, we shouldn't release identities of victims in, accidents who are killed until the families have been notified. So
yeah,
I thought that was interesting that.
Well, like a high-profile person, I think sometimes it's hard to, like, keep that shit under wraps anyway.
True. Yeah.
But still.
But no one knew about this because it was in the middle of nowhere,
Right.
So they could have given that information.
Yeah.
Or maybe, I don't know. Although, how did the UK find out so quickly, and how is it in newspapers?
Once something gets onto, like, a newswire, it goes around the world,
real
basically.
Quickly.
Yeah.
So...
it's really sad.
But the tour continued on, which is crazy to me.
That's so fucked up.
I know. Waylon Jennings.
That's just like so like evident of how fucking little this company cared.
I know
about.
Well, it's like okay, maybe Waylon Jennings took over for Buddy Holly, and that's fine. Maybe they have a contract they're obligated to fulfill. I don't know. But the other weird fucked up thing is that Frankie Avalon came in to replace. Like they actually like found more young talent, like heartthrob teen talent to come bring on this like fucking Devil's tour. Like it's just so awful.
They're just using these young dudes. Talented people. Awful.
And then the other interesting thing I thought that came out of this was that it was the first example of a posthumous single like going gold or like becoming popular because Buddy Holly had a single out that wasn't doing well, but then right after everybody found out that he had died, his song "It Doesn't Matter Anymore," which is ironic, became a huge hit.
Ugh.
And then, I mean, this is like, I just have like some notes at the end, which they're not, I don't know. Anyway, if he wouldn't have gotten so famous posthumously, I don't know if he would have become one of the forefathers of the British invasion, which is interesting because,
well, he influenced so many people.
But I think like that swell of popularity helped kind of like solidify his position in influencing the Beatles, for example, who were all obsessed with him, which is cool.
The air of like tragedy that surrounds like his like legacy, I like boosts it a lot.
Totally.
I think. I mean, I personally enjoy his music, and I think he was like very talented. Like, it doesn't take anything away from him as like as an artist.
Yeah.
But I think like people who are inspired by him, like the Beatles, like that as like a young, teenager or whatever, that era of like fatalism around somebody who's so talented is very, it creates like such a lore around that person. So, I don't know. I think it's very interesting.
And the Beatles all tried like so hard to emulate him. Like that's how George Harrison learned to play the guitar, is just like by listening to Buddy Holly songs and trying to like play along. So he just they became like so interested in his music, and then that helped obviously like like helped them in their early songs especially, and helped them with their setup of their band, because Buddy Holly I think was one of the first the Crickets maybe, or Buddy Holly's band when he died was one of the first bands to have 2 guitars, a bass, and a drum.
Yeah, that setup
it's pretty cool.
Was made possible by his own setup.
Yeah.
Very interesting stuff. What any other like music influences?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, we already talked about how the Rolling Stones did a cover of Not Fade Away.
Yeah, which is really good.
Great song.
Yeah.
Okay. My last thought is, of course, there's a conspiracy theory, or was a conspiracy theory. Kind of, not really.
They're not dead. They're all Bigfoots.
The Big Bopper, his son had his father's body exhumed in 2007 to have him reburied at Forest Lawn, which is like a way more like posh, cool cemetery, I guess. It's like where a bunch of famous people are buried.
Yeah.
And so while he was at it, while he had his father's body handy, he had a forensic anthropologist examine his body, because there was a rumor that there was an accidental firearm discharge that took place on board the aircraft and caused the crash. Because 2 months after the only reason this rumor started is because 2 months after the event, a farmer had found at the crash site a .22 pistol that was known to have belonged to Buddy Holly.
What?
Like, yeah, which doesn't mean anything. It just means that like
it was
all their shit got like thrown out of the plane. Like, I don't know, like people couldn't accept that it was just like an out and out plane crash that was caused because of bad weather and inexperience by the pilot.
But so, I mean, just like look at the picture and it's pretty clear.
But I mean, I think people wanted like more of a like reason for it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so and then another rumor that had gone around was that Richardson, the Big Bopper, had survived the initial impact and had crawled out of the aircraft in search of help. But this was a rumor that was started because his body was found further from the wreckage than the other 3.
Yeah.
Which doesn't mean anything other than his body was literally just thrown further.
Or thrown earlier. Like, as it's tumbling. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so the forensic anthropologist did an examination and concluded that he had indeed died instantly from extensive non-survivable fractures to almost all of his bones.
Oh my God.
and no traces of lead were found from any bullet anywhere. So in I don't know. So yeah, it basically confirmed the original findings. So that's all. That was the last little thing, and that happened like fairly recently, within the past like 10 years, 11 years. So I thought that was interesting. So
yeah, that is.
Yeah, the plane just crashed because it was bad weather and the pilot didn't know
what was going on.
Yeah, how to read the instruments properly. So
he didn't know.
It's so sad.
Up from down.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, it's so sad.
It's a really sad story, but it's part of like our American music folklore that is really sad and fucked up, but like makes it inspired a lot of. I mean, I think Buddy Holly and Richie Valens and everybody else during this time were already inspiring lots of people.
Yeah.
But it's just sad. The saddest thing is that they were so influential on their own, and then this thing happened, and it just really, I don't know.
That's like the thing with any super talented person that dies too early.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what could they have done? It's like, oh, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, even Amy Winehouse, or like, there's so many people that, you're like, oh, wow. And then their music just is so like, it's that much better because it's all you have.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
You cherish it more, I guess. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anytime I listen to Dearest, I get a little sad because it's a very bittersweet song, but it's a beautiful song. I don't know. It's just, I think about his wife, like, who was super young, and she like blamed herself. She like claims that if she would have been there on tour with him, she wouldn't have like let him get on the plane. Like,
she would have gotten on it. Who knows?
Oh, who knows? Yeah.
I blame the pilot and the company.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, yeah.
I blame the touring company that forced these guys to like be performing monkeys, basically.
Yeah.
So sad.
It was a perfect storm.
Yeah.
A shit storm.
A shitstorm, literally and figuratively.
Yeah. Oh.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Go listen to some Richie Valens, or his full name is Richie Valenzuela.
Yeah, but he had to like whitewash it so that people would listen to him because Americans are racist. But don't listen to Donna because that song is so sad.
I know.
That's a sweet haunting song.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Dearest too. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
anyway,
we did it.
Maybe we'll add a couple of these songs to our fucked up playlist.
Oh yeah. If it's about something fucked up, or I guess the story behind the artist is fucked up.
Yeah, because we got a couple songs on there that you're like, what's fucked up about that?
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, there was like, something.
We got. There's like some tea behind it.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah. Anyhow,
right.
that's all I got. It's so sad. Sorry to be such a downer this episode, but we got to bring you down to build you back up, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe?
Well, we were only a downer in the last like third of it, hopefully.
Yeah.
When the dying happened.
When the plane crash happened.
When the plane crash. Unless there are survivors, a plane crash never ends well.
True.
Or is never a great thing. So.
Yeah, and I know we kind of spoiled it at the top, but it's to prepare you.
Yeah, and also I think plenty of people know.
I'm also like have a deeper hatred of American Pie now that I've done this episode. So
yeah, because that song's exploitative
and inappropriate.
And it's fucking 20 minutes long.
It's so long. Why is it so long?
Oh,
okay.
God.
Can I tell you a quick little story about when I was a kid? We used to go camping all the time. And one time, this little kid came with us. I think it was like my dad's like friend's kid or something. And he was like younger than me and my brother. And he just kept singing like American Pie over and over again.
No.
And I was like, get this fucking kid out of here.
Oh, my God.
I don't know.
Who the fuck invited this kid?
Yeah, this kid is not the one. I can't.
This kid is doing it wrong.
And he like knew all the lyrics, and I'm like, this is
why.
Now that I know like what the song is about, as a kid I didn't. I was like, shut up with that annoying ass song. But now as the adult knowing what this song is about, I'm just like, this kid's gonna be devastated in 10, 15 years when he realizes that his favorite song when he was 7 was about a plane crash that killed a bunch of rock stars. So
actually talented rock stars. It's a song by a basic bitch rock star about a bunch of actually talented rock stars.
Yeah.
I hate it so much. I don't know why it's so long. And it came on the radio the other day, and I like didn't notice. I was like thinking about something, and then I was like, "Oh my god, no!" And
at that point, you'd already been listening for 7 minutes, and it still had a lot more time to go.
No, I think I was only like 20 seconds in. It wasn't even that much, but I just like usually I'm like immediately, you like turn it, but I like was daydreaming, and then I was like, "Oh my god, why?" And then but I survived. There's just like certain songs that are just so bad, and that's one of them.
Yeah, I'm sorry if you really like that song, but
I hope you don't like it anymore after this.
I hope there's a pube in this American Pie now for you. I hope there's baked in.
I hope there's not just a pube. I hope it's a cockroach with a pube in its mouth. Baked into this.
Woof.
American Pie.
Ugh.
I hope there's someone's put their dick in it.
That's the appropriate response for sure. Put your dick in it.
All right, I think we've heightened this
We're
back
done.
up to a fun part.
Yeah, we did it. Okay.
Everybody knows where to follow us. I don't think. Do we have to keep saying it every episode?
I mean, if this is your first time listening and you're like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck is this?
Oh, that's true. At DTFU Podcast.
Yeah, lodge all complaints there.
Or dtfupodcast.com. That's it. Just you'll find it. It's fine.
Yeah, we got all the info on the website. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yay.
Catch us on all the things: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, website at DTFU Podcast.
Yeah.
At dtfupodcast.com.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
Oh, be excellent.
Oh, duh. Be excellent to each other, guys.
Okay, good. Okay, bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.